the standout technological advancements in the Nexia compared to previous models?
So one of the things we of course have is the now advanced connectivity in terms of you have LE audio, so you can connect directly to your PC and be connected in your workplace or at home or wherever you want to be. So if you have one of the later generations of PCs with LE audio on board, then it's straightforward. And then of course you also have the Auracast, new technology where you see things start to roll out, and we start in the new year with installations and so forth. We already had the first trials around the globe here. So these are a few of the new things that are to be checked out in next year.
Obviously we are recording this. I mean, are you able to kind of divulge a little bit more about what LE audio is and what Auracast is and how that's important for hearing aid users?
Right. So up until, let's say, a couple of years ago, you were dependent on the loop system and also proprietary systems. The loop systems have been around since 1938 when the patent was issued, and it has done a tremendous good work, but it doesn't have stereo, it doesn't have privacy and so forth, what you need today. So a next generation there is good. Secondly, you also have the proprietary systems. What is also good, but the challenge is, of course, if I have Resound hearing instruments and I visit friends that also have hearing aids, but they might have another brand, then we are not able to listen in on the TV or whatever. So LE audio and Auracast are a new industry standard that everybody in the industry is going to use. And the reason why it's called LE is it's low energy, so you're not really limited on time, so you can use it throughout the day. And let's say we look at people like us here being in a meeting, fitted with hearing aids, using my laptop, and I could just be talking for hours, and I can, between the meetings, stream music. And when I get home, I might be listening to my TV, and later in the evening, I might be interested in talking to my wife and so forth. I need plenty of battery power for that, and LE audio makes it possible.
Yeah, amazing. And what is the battery life of the device?
It very much depends, but what we are saying is it's throughout a day, and you can stream as much as you like to.
Great.
So are you able to use it for 2 days? That's a stretch. Charge it during the night, I would say.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, excellent. And how long does it take to fully recharge?
It will fully recharge within, I would think it's about 4 hours or something like that. And if you're low on power and you need to beef it up, 15 minutes will help you a lot.
Oh, good. Yeah, you get the speedy charging. And so going back to the kind of connectivity side of things, what type of devices can the Resound Nexia connect with currently?
Of course, it can connect to our own devices, such as the TV Streamer Plus. It can connect to our multi-mic plus, so the remote microphone.
Yeah.
And thereby you also get connected to the loop system if you use the multi-mic plus, if you don't have a telecoil in your hearing instrument.
Yeah.
For some people, they might not get it at first glance because they find, well, I don't need it and so forth. But then your hearing loss might develop, and then it comes in handy that you can just equip yourself with a multi-mic plus.
Yeah. So I recently attended a Resound event at the Samsung headquarters. So we know that, the kind of Bluetooth Low Energy and Auracast is available in Android. A huge deal of the market is iPhone as well. Have you heard any whispers about whether or not Apple will be releasing this technology in the near future?
Apple is very secret about their doings and their plans and so forth.
Okay.
But a fact is, Apple also want to do something for hearing impaired, disabled people in general. And since this is an industry standard, this is something you will see in public places and so forth, then I cannot imagine Apple products not being able to stream or listen into streams in public places.
Yeah.
They will have it. That's my take.
Okay. Yeah. Now, the big kind of a lot of hype around the word AI at the moment in hearing aids. How is the Resound Nexia leveraging machine learning or artificial intelligence for sound processing currently?
I would like to start in another place because it's important to understand that AI doesn't fix all your problems.
Yeah.
You need an extremely good hearing instrument and signal processing. And our focus is very much on the natural sound because the best intelligence is the natural intelligence. So that's what the user have and what your brain have. So you need to provide as good a signal or sound signal to your brain as you can. However, we do have processing on board that prepare things a bit and are adaptive. So for sure we do have something in there. Whether we want to give it the big stamp AI or not, that's a different question.
Yeah. Okay. So currently, what kind of features are within the Nexia to enhance speech clarity and reduce background noise? Can you give it, an example of the technology that's being used there to enhance the user experience?
Yeah. First of all, I'm not the audiologist and I'm the radio engineer, but still I would like to proudly tell about our directionality and the combined omni and directionality, because no matter how you put it, directionality helps you a lot because it automatically suppresses what is not in your focus, and what is in your focus gets some more gain. However, it doesn't mean that you don't want to be aware about the waiter coming from behind addressing you. So therefore, we have this combined directionality and omni, so that you still get a fair signal, fair input coming from behind. Besides that, we also have noise suppression in wind noise, a very difficult situation because it's non-repeatable noise, so hard to suppress. We also worked a lot with. So we have a couple of features there for sure. But I have to say I'm not the expert in these specific
no, that's
features.
fine. I mean, one thing I found was been particularly helpful for me while playing around with the devices is the adjustment of expansion and in the fitting software, and a lot of the manufacturers now, they've removed that feature, and I've found that actually that ability to increase the strength of expansion to lower that amplifier noise has been really, really helpful. And I also found that within the app, the ability to going back to the wind noise reduction, I found that's really, really helpful, being able to adjust the noise reduction in the app. Perfect example is I was using them in the car with the fan on full, and it worked like incredibly well. I was genuinely like seriously impressed with just how much it kind of just attenuated that without kind of causing too much distortion. You can sometimes get a lot of artifact when you're kind of getting it like that, but I found that the listening experience was still very good. So yeah, no, I've been quite impressed with it in my trials.
I'm very pleased to hear, and you're pointing to the right things here. You can do a lot of things with noise suppression. You can do a lot of things with AI. after all, a lot of these things comes at a price. So you get some artifacts. Some you can live with because you get better speech understanding. That's fine. Others are like, yeah, well, it might sound better to normal hearing, but to hearing impaired, it really doesn't make a difference. And I like what you are saying when you tell me that you are working with the expansion and so forth. That's actually your natural intelligence, if you will, that you have an intuitive understanding of sound and the noise in the sound and so forth. So you know what handles to play with to minimize the noise and maximize, say, the wanted audio, like speech and so forth.
Yeah, no, definitely. So obviously you're the engineer behind a lot of it. I mean, how was the form factor optimized for, say, comfort and discretion? If you compare the Resound Nexia, it is impressively compact, and so how what went into that process in it?
It's a deep understanding of when you have mild hearing loss. That's where you get your first hearing aids, and there's still a bit of stigma. And you want it to be very small, very comfortable. You probably need to wear glasses as well. You're an active person, so you're out in open air and maybe sports and so forth. So size is just very important. Comfort is very important. And we have a long-term track on miniaturization, and that's coming true now, so that even though we top it up with the Auracast and other technologies, you see our battery life, or the hours you get out of a charge goes up.
Yeah.
The size of the hearing aids goes down and so forth. And I would say this is not the end. We have plans for more to fit in there. And of course, you are trading if you take in a power hungry technology.
Yeah.
That could be classic Bluetooth or whatever. You can always compensate on battery size, fit in bigger batteries.
Yeah.
But at a point of time, people are looking at it and say, well, these hearing aids look like what my grandpa had, and that's not for me.
Yeah. No, it is, and particularly, I think one particularly in the field, one manufacturer in the field at the moment has just released quite a significantly sized AI device, and I think that it's certainly been a limitation for a lot of people on the weight of it and the size difference. It definitely does have an impact on people's decision making processes. So I mean, the one thing that's quite unique about the Nexia is how the receiver kind of comes out halfway down the back of the hearing aid. What was the thought process behind that, rather than coming out of the tip?
Yeah, it's obvious. If you fit it on the tip, you can go home early as an engineer because it's so much easier to do. But what is extremely important is that you get your microphones just above your earlobe. And the only way you can do it is by getting the wire on the bottom of the hearing aids. And at the same time, we also wanted to have a product that is prepared for the future. And maybe you have noticed the connector is with 8 pins, even though you would say 2 pins is enough. But in case you want the Marie, you need a few pins, and you can put 2 and 2 together, and you can see, well, maybe we have something more in mind, since we want to have room for additional pins.
So yeah, I mean, just going back to something you mentioned there, Marie. So Marie is the only hearing aid on the market that has a microphone built on the receiver that goes in the ear. What has been the kind? I mean, it's been out for maybe 2-3 years now. I mean, how has there been any further research to show the significant benefits of this technology, or is this something that you feel will be phased out in future models?
I'm quite sure it will stay in our portfolio. But I also have to say, despite I'm not an audiologist and so forth, it's not for all hearing losses.
Mm.
So you need to really consult and also counsel the user to see, is that the right candidate you have here for that. If you have severe to profound hearing loss, I'm not sure it helps you much.
Yeah.
But the basic idea is the ear is built well from nature to be the right, to give you good directionality and perception of the sound and so forth. So if you can top up with that in your hearing aids, you should have a better spatial perception. So that's the background for this, and that's why I think it will stay in the portfolio.
Yeah. Okay. And so obviously going back again to, you say about first time users and, making the devices quite small. What other measures have been taken to make sure that the hearing aids are intuitive for first time users?
First of all, we make them very simple and easy to understand. So we don't have a lot of handles or things you need to work with. And if you look at the app, it's extremely important that the app is intuitive and you can quickly, almost in dark, manipulate or adjust your hearing aids as you need to. And I mean, it's a barrier to get on board with hearing aids. And personally, I would hate to see these laying in a drawer,
Yeah.
spending years developing it,
No,
and then it
exactly.
ends up in a drawer. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not for me.
One of the better ones for me, I find, is that the it's a simple thing, but just the light on the back of the hearing aid, it helps
Yes.
communicate, what, whether or not the device itself is working. So how often do wax guards block up? And actually no, they immediately go, oh, my hearing aid's not working, rather than checking the wax guard. Whereas if they can physically see the hearing aid flashing, that it's coming on as it normally is, I've found that particularly helpful. And the fact that still, there are still manufacturers out there that don't have lights on their hearing aids. I find it difficult to understand why they don't have that very simple, but in my opinion, essential feature. So yeah, I think that's one of the nice things about the Nexia, particularly for first-time users. The one thing that stood out for me anyway.
I can only echo that. It's extremely difficult user interface.
Okay.
Best case, you have volume toggle, so you have two positions on your buttons. Maybe you only have one button. In
Yeah.
some cases, you don't even have a button. And
Yeah.
how do you signal back what you did is right? How do you signal back things are working? The app is very good. But let's say you don't have your phone handy. You're going to use your hearing aids anyway, right?
Mm.
So at least the light indicator, that would be very helpful. And putting it into the charger, you see lights go on and so forth, okay, I did everything right. I'm good to go again tomorrow when I pick them up and so forth. So I fully agree.
Mm.
The better and easier user interface you can give, the more likely is things are running well and you do the right thing as a user.
Yeah, I do. I agree. So other features on the hearing aids, obviously, feedback suppression. It's something that GN Resound have always, in my opinion, done quite well. And how is it that your technology seems to kind of exceed that of other manufacturers in suppressing, painful feedback?
It's it started out as being our number one priority, and it dates back, let's see, more than 20 years. I think 25 years, if not more. And you have to remember back then, hugging people that equaled whistling, and nobody appreciate that. It's annoying, and you don't want to signal too much. You're using hearing aids, and ever since it has been a very high priority. And this is not something where we are going to be second best on.
Yeah, I like
At least not if I'm going to decide.
Yeah, it's good. I completely. I mean, I don't think anything cheapens a hearing aid more than a whistling
Yeah.
hearing aid. It is the one thing that people immediately cringe at. I find it's that they recoil when they hear the hearing aid whistle, and so I feel like that, no modern hearing aid, when in situ, should be offering any kind of level of feedback. I feel like it should be a thing of the past. But some manufacturers they really struggle with it still. So I think it's certainly, a testament to the research that's gone into the Resound products there to show why it's doing so well. So obviously, hearing aids can be quite an expensive purchase, particularly private, on the private sector. So what is the expected lifespan of the Resound Nexia? Is there this kind of planned obsolescence that you often get with a lot of technology, or is it, are you looking for longevity from these devices?
It is very expensive to buy a set of hearing aids, and we are going the other way around, trying to ensure we have all becoming technologies on board, so that we, with software updates, can provide you some more functionality, Auracast being one of the very important things. And I would think people are very different. Some are wearing hearing aids faster than others, but I would think a set of Nexia, I wouldn't be surprised if people are saying after 6 years, they still work day in, day out. I just need a new dome, I just need a new filter, and I'm good to go. And that's what they are engineered for.
Yeah, good, excellent. And in terms of resilience, what kind of water resistance or dust proofing do the Nexias have?
We have the IP68, and no matter how we put it, the ear canal, behind the ear, is a very aggressive environment. That's how we say keep ourselves clean of all kinds of germs and so forth. Unfortunately, it's also very tough on electronics, but we have it fully coated, and we also have some additional protection mechanisms. So therefore, we have the IP68.
Amazing. And obviously, we've only got a couple of minutes left of the meeting. So, how do you see what are the next steps for Resound, leading on from the Nexia platform?
Well, for sure, we are keeping the red line here. So all you see now, I would say that's baseline. And I think we will see much more on the connectivity side. I think actually there will also be a pull from the market where people are saying, yeah, but I'm a modern person. I'm working in a company. I need the connectivity. I'm out in public space. I want to connect to the silent screen. So I go to the sports bar. I want to listen in like the guys with the earbuds and so forth. I want to be able to do anything anybody else can do with my hearing aids. And that's where we will see that we will keep building on top of what we have.
Amazing. Look forward to it. Well, thank you for your time today as well.
A pleasure.
Lovely. Right. John, let's stop recording then, Janky.